Hello and welcome back to another episode. I am Slim to Kid. Thank you for tuning in to this brand new podcast of Round 2 Wrestling here on the 7th of June, 2022. We have a lot of things to talk about. Ooh, and our music kicked back in for just a second. We will turn that off. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about. New rumors, lots of news, results, and a whole bunch of did you know facts ready for you to enjoy this evening. So let's jump right into our rumors circulating in the world of professional wrestling. A source of Wade Keller's stated Vince McMahon is so high up on MJF, even if AEW issues are real, he would still offer him an incredibly lucrative contract. Anybody that's been living under a rock around the moon for the past week, you absolutely missed one of the most pivotal moments in all of professional wrestling. We all know about the infamous or famous, depending on what side of the rail you fall on, of the CM Punk pipe bomb during his last days in WWE. This is not something new. Wrestlers take to the mic or to social media or to a press conference or something and drop bombshells like this all the time. Sometimes it's in character, other times it's to promote a storyline. In the case of CM Punk and what happened with MJF last Wednesday on Dynamite, it is bitterly real. The issues that MJF stated are in fact real, and he has been the topic of conversation for the last week. It is very hard to enjoy pro wrestling right now without speaking about MJF in some sort of way. Is this a work? Is it real? Does he truly want to leave AEW, or is this just part of a storyline? Nobody really has any answers, and if you do, the chances of it being factual are slim to none. But we here at Round 2 Wrestling, just like we do everything else, will keep our eyes glued to the computer screen to bring you updates on this extremely juicy situation as we move forward. According to Fightful Select, Ring of Honor will be returning to pay-per-view July 23rd. The event is Death Before Dishonor in Lowell, Massachusetts. Andrew Zarian of Mat Men reported Warner Bros. Discovery is very AEW positive. Tony Khan has a strong working relationship with Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers knows that they have a very lucrative piece of entertainment on their hands and are handling it quite well. According to Business Insider, Vince McMahon executed Stephanie McMahon's leave of absence due to the fact that while Stephanie was in control of sponsorship and marketing, there simply was not enough growth. Vince McMahon has now released both of his children from their duties in WWE. Both of their kids have been around WWE and have had some sort of producer, marketing, head of research, lead, blah, 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 for decades, it seems like. Probably since the late 90s, early 2000s. With WWE slowing down in growth, especially with the effects of the pandemic still being felt around the world to this day, it is only natural that there would be some cutting of the fat away from said company. However, I guess I'm really surprised that he cut his own children. But then again, it is a business, and you have to make business decisions that are good for the business, and this must be good for the business. Don't expect Stephanie and Shane to be out of the spotlight for too long. I do expect them to be involved in WWE in some sort of way, somehow, somewhere down the line. All right, that's enough of the rumor mill. There wasn't a whole lot circulating around, but what was circulating around the world as a rumor is quite beneficial and topic and talk worthy. But we will move on from rumors and move on to more factual news here on Round 2 Wrestling. W. Morrissey is done with Impact Wrestling as reported by PW Insider. AEW's Blood and Guts to take place in Detroit, Michigan, June 29th. This is also AEW's debut in my home state of Michigan, and it is only fitting that Blood and Guts takes place in the murder capital of America. Battle of the Belts 3 to be held in Grand Rapids, Michigan, August 5th. This is also part of the Michigan opening tour for AEW. Very, very nice to see that Little Caesars Arena and the Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids will be getting two fairly big events for AEW, i.e. Blood and Guts and Battle of the Belts 3. Keep your eyes tuned to the TV screens and tune in to Dynamite on Wednesday and Rampage on Fridays to keep up on all the action in AEW so you're not left in the cold when it comes time for Blood and Guts and Battle of the Belts 3. Ric Flair, Fox Sports, and WWE to partner on a 2-hour documentary about the Nature Boy. This is not the first time that somebody has grabbed the Nature Boy and said, hey, we want to make a documentary out of you. There was one released by ESPN 30 for 30 a couple years ago that is absolutely brilliant. And if you can come across it, I strongly recommend you take the time and watch this 30 for 30. PWInsider.com reports that Jay White is no longer with Impact Wrestling. This is due to his outside commitments from Impact Wrestling, i.e. New Japan Pro Wrestling, soon to be AEW, and other things. This is not him leaving Impact. He just has no time for Impact at this particular time in his career. CM Punk suffers an injury to his foot that requires surgery. He will not relinquish the AEW World title. In fact, there will be an interim champion to take Punk's place while he is on medical leave. Part of this takes place tomorrow on AEW Dynamite and will culminate, I believe, at the June pay-per-view Forbidden Door, which is the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling joint promotion pay-per-view taking place in Chicago later this month. Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio stated Adam Cole is also injured and out until at least the Forbidden Door pay-per-view at the end of June. Announced Monday, WWE names Catherine Newman as the new Executive Vice President and Head of Marketing. I don't know of any other women in her position within the WWE, so congratulations to her. This was something that Brandi Rhodes was sort of a part of during her time in AEW. I'm sort of surprised that WWE didn't reach out to Brandi, especially with Cody Rhodes now being on the main roster. But they might have thought that this was a better move. And like we like to say here on Round 2 Wrestling, only time will tell whether or not this was in fact the correct move. Per a Fightful report, Bryan Danielson, that's right, 3 of AEW's main stars, is out with an injury. However, Bryan Danielson is the least serious out of all of them and will require only 1 to 2 weeks time off in order to recuperate. All right, no more news to talk about here on Round 2 Wrestling, so let's move to the results that took place this past week. NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion Homicide defeated Colby Corino to retain the NWA Junior Heavyweight title. Hiromu Takahashi defeated El Desperado to win the New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Junior Weight 29 tournament. Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith defeated Mustache Mountain and De Familia to win the NXT UK Tag Team titles. Rich Swann defeated Matt Rayholt to retain the Impact Digital Media title. Unified WWE Tag Team Champions, the Usos, defeated Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura to retain the Tag Team titles. TNT Champion Scorpio Sky defeated Dante Martin to retain the TNT Championship. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair defeated Asuka and Becky Lynch to retain the Raw Women's Championship. U.S. Champion Austin Theory defeated Mustafa Ali to retain the United States Championship. The Creeds defeated Pretty Deadly to win the NXT Tag Team titles. Carmelo Hayes defeated Cameron Grimes to win the NXT North American Championship. If you were paying attention, there were a lot of WWE titles on the line this past weekend. That was because we had a pay-per-view take place this past weekend. Hell in a Cell was the pay-per-view this month in June, and a lot of action and fallout from that. Be sure to tune in to Raw and SmackDown to catch up on everything related to WWE. All right, no more news to talk about, and we have an announcement here on Round 2 Wrestling. We have cut 2 portions of our show from Round 2 Wrestling due to lack of interest. Our Match of the Week and our Michigan Highlight have been removed to bring you more Did You Know Facts, which has quickly become the favorite part of Round 2 Wrestling. Did you know our little bits of information and facts pertaining to professional wrestling that you may or may not know about or thought was just a rumor and needed some clarification? Did you know Hulk Hogan has never beaten Jerry the King Lawler? Did you know the Dudley Boys and Razor Ramon never participated in a Royal Rumble? This was very, very hard for me to believe, but it's in fact factual. Did you know Kerry Von Erich won the NWA World title in 1984? He promptly went and scratched his initials onto the actual title belt. The initials are still there to this day. Did you know Mick Foley's TNA World title reign lasted longer than all 3 of his WWF title reigns combined? Did you know Bob Backlund challenged for the NWA and the AWA world titles while he was reigning as the WWF champion? Did you know Arn Anderson, Bob Armstrong, The Undertaker, and Antonio Inoki have pinfall victories over Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, the only wrestlers to do so? And our final Did You Know fact, did you know Shawn Michaels is the only Triple Crown champion forfeiter? And by that, Michaels has vacated all of the Triple Crown titles. He has vacated the WWF Intercontinental, the WWF Tag Team, and the WWF World titles. All right, that concludes this episode of Round 2 Wrestling. I am Slim the Kid, and I personally want to thank you for tuning in to this brand new episode. I also want to take the time to make an announcement and say that Ultimate Championship Wrestling has given me a job as a referee. I have made this announcement many times, but I cannot state how grateful and glad I am to be working with this promotion. If you are in the Bay Area in Michigan or Saginaw, be sure to check out Ultimate Championship Wrestling for all your wrestling needs in the greater Saginaw area. Check me out as I referee in the ring and view some of our stars and champions here in Michigan. All right, once again, thank you for tuning in to Round 2 Wrestling, and I hope you tune in next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Round 2 Wrestling is brought to you by Slim the Kid and Spreaker.com.